Hey guys, welcome back to Boss Fan TV, and today we're going to be doing the match preview for our game against Sligo Rovers at the showgrounds tomorrow evening. Big game in the race for Europe. We've got to win it or get something out of it at least, and hope Derry get beat by Dundalk. If we can win, we that guarantees us fourth place. Whatever happens in the cup final doesn't matter. We'll still be in Europe. You know Last Friday obviously was a great game, a 3-1 win against Rovers. Hectic game. It's great scenes when we score the goals, and yeah, good win overall, and it really put us in a good position for tomorrow night's game. Um, you know we've been inconsistent over the course of the season, obviously, and probably overall, some would argue we don't deserve Europe, but we won't care if we get it at the end of the day. With Sligo's sort of form being a bit. I know they finished third and they got Europe, but over the season I think they have been a bit patchy. The form lately has been a bit meh, so it's a good chance for us to go there and get a win. With some of the players that we have out, that we've had out over the past few weeks, it's been the form's been pretty decent lately, with Georgie Kelly, arguably our best player, being out, and with others being injured too. So I think if we can win this, then that guarantees us Europe, obviously, and there's a little less pressure on us then in the cup final. There's going to be a big crowd going down tomorrow, so I'm going down myself, so really looking forward to it. You know, it's got to win. The crowd will make their voices heard, I'm sure, and it's going to be a tough game, no matter what. I think Sligo, they'll still obviously. It's their last home game of the season, so they'll want to go out on a high. But we've got a lot more to play for than them. I think we've got a few out as well tomorrow. Coot was suspended, which is a bit of a blow. We want to have our strongest team out in the big games. But I'm sure someone like Stephen Madden or Wardy will step in and do a job. I'll get into a pretty good lineup in a moment, but yeah, we've got a few players coming back. Obviously, Tierney and Lyons and Devoy were away on international duty, so it's good to have them back for this game, because we really need them. I didn't particularly think we needed them in the derby, but no, it'd be good to have them back. Because a lot of our play is kind of based around them, especially like the likes of Devoy and Tierney. So they'll be welcome back with open arms, and I've heard that Georgie Kelly could be a part of the squad, whether it be but he'll probably be on the bench, and he might come on for the final 10-15 minutes if we're chasing a goal or something like that. So it'd be good to have him back. Obviously, we need him ready for the cup final. I know Alma has stepped in and done really well over the past few weeks, but you'd want to have your best players on the pitch in the big games. So I'll get into my particular lineup now. I think it'll be Talbot and goal, Lyons, Cornwall, Kelly, Wilson, Buckley, Devoy, Bort, Tierney, Mallon, and Amasher. I think that's a pretty solid team. I think we should be good enough to go up to Sligo and get a win. I think we've got a few sort of rumours that have been going around as well. I'll touch on them, about transfers and players potentially leaving. I'll get into that in a moment, but I'll talk a bit more about the game anyway. The fans, I'm sure, will play a big part in it. There's a big travelling support going down, and it's a big game, and most of the time we go into big games and we put in a good performance, and we tend to win, and that's what we've got to do. So there's less pressure on us in the cup final. If we finish fifth and lose the cup final, ultimately we've missed out, and we're looking back on this season as a big disappointment. There was I'll get onto the transfers now. There was an interesting article released there, I think on Tuesday, by Dan McDonald, or could have been Wednesday or Tuesday, and it's not a good article really to read if you're a Bows fan. Again, it's just looking like it's going to be another off season of rebuilding. Keith Buckley is strongly considering a move to Australia, which came as a surprise to me. He's been a fantastic servant to the club over the past few years, and it'd be devastating to see him leave. Georgie Kelly, a few clubs in England looking at him. Portsmouth are one of them. Derry also interested, we already knew that, but yeah, he'd be a massive loss. Andy Lyons, it's kind of unclear whether or not he'll be staying or leaving. Tierney, obviously, we already know is off to Motherwell. Anto Breslin's going to Pats. There's a few big departures there potentially. Wilson and Devoido look like they're probably going to be staying, which is good, but there's a few massive departures there. One in particular for me being Keith Buckley, leader on and off the pitch. It'd be devastating to see him leave, because there's not many players around like him, and he'd be very hard to replace. Georgie Kelly as well is a smashing player, been our player of the season this season without a doubt. He'll be very hard to replace. Difficult to find a striker who can sort of score the goals and the amount of goals that he's scored this season. So a few massive departures there. A few rumours on incomes as well. Been a bit quiet, obviously, because the season's not fully finished yet, but there has been a few rumours on incomes. Cameron Dunnigan has sort of once again been linked. He was linked last year. I think he was even linked the year before that too. So, he's a decent option if someone like Andy Lyons was to leave. He's a solid defender, been in the Dundalk team in and out sort of this year, but he's a solid player. I'd probably have him if players were to leave in that sort of position. Liam Kerrigan has been linked too. I know that it was said that he's probably going to be going to Rovers, but they're obviously looks like they're going to be signing Jack Byrne, so that's probably off the cards now. But with manager getting linked to Celtic, he could probably step in as his replacement. Well, Jack Byrne could do that as well, but Kerrigan's a very good player. He's played very well for UCD this year. I think he scored about 12 goals for them. Very talented young player, been in the under-21 squad, or under-21 squad recently. So yeah, he's a good player. I'd definitely have him at the club as a replacement for Ross Tierney. Tunde Awolabi is another player that's been linked. Decent player. Let's assume he'd probably come in as a replacement for Georgie Kelly if he was to leave. Probably not as good as Georgie Kelly, probably won't offer as much as he does, but he's still a very good player, I think. I'd only really consider him if Georgie Kelly was to leave. If Georgie Kelly was to stay, I probably wouldn't go for it. But if Georgie Kelly was to leave, I wouldn't mind someone like Tunde Awolabi. Finally, I forgot to mention my score prediction for the game. I think we'll win it 2-1. I think we'll just about nick it. Sligo don't really have anything to play for, nothing to play for really. They've secured Europe, and obviously they're probably going to want to go out on a high now in their last game of the season. They're a decent side, but I think we'll just about nick it and win the game 2-1. So that's where I'll end it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you're thinking heading into the game, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.